Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another FPL video. And it's been like legit ages since we've done one of these. So I'm super excited to have Yelena back on because we're kind of doing this weekly, but it's been so just so crazy, so hectic and everything. But I'm so happy that we're doing this again. Yelena, how's it going?
It's good. I've missed these so much. I've also had some really bad game weeks, so I've been kind of relieved I haven't had to go through my team, but I've also missed being able to be like, help me. I've really struggled.
I'm the exact same. Like my team has been struggling, and every week people are like, "Oh, that's a really great team," and then they go on and do nothing, and it's like a red arrow. So it's been like a super frustrating couple of weeks for me. Finally got my first green arrow, even though it was like
Yay.
the smallest green arrow ever.
It
But
still counts.
we'll take what we can get. Yeah, I actually felt pretty good because I got over 100 points, and then I saw everybody else got like 110, 120, and I was like, oh man.
I was so gutted because before the Brighton game, everyone was like, don't celebrate your 100 points because everyone has 100, and I didn't. And I was like, I'm doing something wrong.
Like, what's happening? Yeah, so I totally feel that. But so guys, today we're going to be getting into like a bit of Game Week 34 review about our teams, and then we're going to get into like some buy sell options for Game Week 35, kind of also looking ahead to the last couple of game weeks of the season, and then taking a look at our Game Week 35 teams. And there's so much to discuss, and like I personally have like so many things on my mind about like what should I do. So this is going to be like really cathartic for me.
Definitely.
So let's get started. So this is my Game Week 34 team. I had 104 points. I didn't take any hits. Maybe hits should have been the way to go. I've seen a lot of people take like -8s and they did much better than me. But basically, I had a choice of Raya or Arrizabalaga in goal. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put Brentford in goal ahead of Chelsea because I just didn't trust Chelsea to keep a clean sheet versus Arsenal. And thank God, well, they both didn't keep a clean sheet, but I think Chelsea conceded more goals. Then I had
Yeah.
a back three of Shaw, Stupinian, and Alexander-Arnold. And I felt that my defense was maybe like the strongest part of my game week. Obviously, was super bummed that Man United conceded at the very minute of the game because that wiped me out like quite a few points. But overall, like very happy with the Brighton defense. And then Trent is also looking like he's getting back to his best with the switch of formation. And he's getting forward a lot and getting on the ball a lot. So hopefully we'll see like more assists from him in the future. And then my midfield just kind of I was so upset about this. Like for
So unfortunate.
well, unfortunate. Like, how did Brighton score? I think it was 6 goals in the first game, and Martin Matoma didn't get a single goal or assist. I think Matoma was rested in the first game, and then March in the second, if I'm not mistaken. So I was just like, oh, man, like you've got to be kidding me. And then Martinelli was rested versus Chelsea. Of course, Arsenal back three versus Chelsea, and then it wasn't even beneficial to my fantasy team. So it was a lose-lose, and then Rashford got some points, but obviously nothing versus Brighton, and was one of the higher scoring. And then Ollie Watkins and Captain Holland, which ended up working out. And I was a bit bummed because I had Solanke on my bench, and he got 8 points. So that was kind of something that I was upset about. But that was basically my team. So I did okay. I had like a very slight green arrow, but nothing major. It was like a 2 or 4%, something like this. But Yelena, let's talk about your team. You did much better than me.
So the Edison pick was really frustrating because obviously City conceded in the first game, and the second game he was benched, and I went for Edison because I thought he is safe from Pep Roulette, but no one is safe. So that was really annoying.
I was so shocked about that.
I know. I thought it was a prank. I thought it was someone playing a prank on Twitter, and it wasn't. So that, and City keeping a clean sheet as well in that game is just so it was typical FPL. And then my defence, I was really disappointed with Trippier. I was expecting more than 2 points, but what I was quite relieved about was I previously had Burn and I transferred him out and brought in Trent, which definitely paid off. And it was a free transfer, so it worked out really well. And then Dunk, I was gutted because Estupinian got the assist, didn't he, in the first game? So Dunk just missed out on a couple of points. And I was like, I knew it. It's those 50-50 calls that sometimes just don't swing in your favour. But overall, I was glad at least Dunk and Trent returned. And then my midfield, again, I had what you had with Matoma being benched. So annoying. And then by the time he came on, it was too late. I think he scored 1 point and that was that. And then McAllister, I was on the right side of that decision. I was so pleased that he scored last night. Grealish, I was expecting a bit more from. He was quite disappointing, I think, in both games. And I'm now worried that he will be maybe benched at some point. So that's one to keep an eye on. And then Isak and Haaland. Isak, I'm really pleased with. But again, you've got Wilson that's getting more points than him. So I think it was a good call. I'm pleased I played him. But I feel as though I maybe could have picked someone else. And then Haaland, captain. You can just rely on him, can't you? He just always delivers.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter, like, people were actually saying that now since everybody's captaining Holland, it, like, negatively affects your rank or something.
Yeah, unless you triple captain him, it's actually not benefiting you at all.
Yeah, but then it's, like, super destroying your rank if you don't do it. Well, unless you get somebody that just, like, absolutely hauls. But at this point, it's like, who's going to get more points than Holland? Well, I guess in this game, Salah, but yeah, I don't know.
It was only a tiny, it was so close. And the thing is, I would love to be brave enough to captain Matoma 1 week and he hauls. And can you imagine how good it would feel if he got more than Haaland? And it would do like absolute wonders for your rank. But it's just too scary. Haaland would just whip out a hat trick, and then you're absolutely screwed.
Exactly. That's what like really destroyed my rank the past couple of weeks because I didn't have my free hit and everybody had their free hit and City blank. So then I didn't have Haaland for like 2 weeks and then he scored like 4 or 5 goals in those 2 weeks. I was like, oh, and it really, really destroyed me. So now I'm just like too scared to go against Haaland. But that kind of brings us like to our buys because you mentioned Isak and that was my buy, but I would like to preface this with like in my mind it's kind of Isak / Wilson, my bias on Newcastle forward because even though they play Arsenal at home, we're seeing that Arsenal aren't keeping so many clean sheets, especially with Saliba injured. We see that Newcastle's attack is firing on all cylinders at the moment. And for me, it's really a 50-50 between do I go Isak, do I go Wilson? Do I bring both in at some point? But if you just look at his underlying stats, 3 goals and 1 assist in his last 5 games, started 4 of those 5. Obviously, Wilson is getting more of the points at the moment. But I think both of them could be really good assets going forward. And obviously Newcastle are one of the teams that double in game week 36. So I'm really looking to get like at least 2, maybe 3 Newcastle assets for that double game week. But what about you? What's your buy?
So I am thinking of De Gea because Edison's hurt me this week. I was really, really annoyed. And the thing is, with Edison, my main reason for going for him, I thought, as I said, he was going to be the keeper. I didn't expect him to be benched whatsoever, so I thought that was quite a safe choice. But he rarely picks up bonus points. I think he's gotten 5 bonus points in total this season, and I had Kepa before, and he was on 15, I think. Wow. So Edison's not making saves, they're not keeping a clean sheet. So I'm really tempted by De Gea, and I was quite tempted because Newcastle also have the double, but I think their fixtures are a bit more tricky than United's. And I mean, De Gea, look at he's kept 3 clean sheets in the last 5 games. He's made 12 saves. I just think that makes more sense. But I am reluctant to use free transfers on keepers. But if that's a way that I can pick up some more points at this point in the season, you need points. So I'm kind of panicking, but I think I'm going to go De Gea.
Yeah, and it's something that I'm thinking about as well because I'm looking at that double in 37 And
Mm.
I feel like Bournemouth are kind of like a deceptively tricky team, especially because like, well, they're sitting in 13th. Like, I don't think that they're really like so close to relegation anymore. But I feel like, you know, it could go either way with them. But with
Mm.
Chelsea, like Chelsea just started scoring goals. So that is like a white fixture. But
Yeah.
realistically, I think United's chances of keeping a clean sheet versus Chelsea are quite high with the way that we're going. So I'm definitely thinking of bringing De Gea in too. And it's like, oh, do you spend a transfer on a goalkeeper? But at this point, maybe it doesn't make sense, especially for the last couple of games of the season.
I think though we've both got quite strong teams anyway, so a lot of our transfers will be more to get, like, say, triple Newcastle for the double game week and things like that. So I'm wondering now whether it is the time you can use your transfer for a goalkeeper,
Yeah.
and actually it will be really beneficial. Hopefully, we'll see.
Totally, totally. So this is now we're going into my cell. Like maybe this one is a little bit surprising. Gabriel, he's right now like potentially not going to make it back for the Newcastle game. Kind of keeping my eye on that, but I saw that he was about 14% owned. And if you look at the just like goals conceded, 12 goals in the last 5 games, and it was expected 9.64. And really, Arsenal have not been keeping clean sheets. They didn't
Mm.
even keep a clean sheet versus Chelsea. And I think with Saliba not in that starting 11, we've started to see like some leaks in Arsenal's defense. And like I said, kind of my buy and sell are quite similar. Like Newcastle have quite a good attack. Brighton have a really good attack as well.
Mm.
So I don't really know if I see Arsenal keeping clean sheets, and I think that you could probably invest that money in, I don't know, like a Man United defender, for example. I'm maybe looking at a City defender for the double game week, but I just don't know with Pep Roulette. So I definitely think that
Yeah.
there are other options out there, and especially for a bit of a cheaper price point as well.
Definitely. I think also the Forest fixture in 37, it's away. Forest are amazing at home. I think they've scored in most games at home apart from two
Yeah.
this season. They are absolutely on fire. And if they're going to be fighting relegation, they're going to go in. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that is a solid sell.
Yeah, that's like super good insight because I know you know so much about Forest as well. What about you? What's yourself?
So
So it's sorry.
Edison, honestly, this man, just seeing his face makes me annoyed. The only thing that makes me hesitant is the Leeds and the Everton fixtures. But I just
Yeah,
think and I'm really worried where City did keep a clean sheet in the last game without him, that he's just kind of irrelevant, or maybe they're going to rotate him or something. And it's just, imagine if he gets rotated for the double game week and I just have him for one game. It seems like such a pointless keeper to have.
yeah. No, it's like so shocking to me, to be honest, because I was honestly thinking about bringing him in as well, because I was thinking if
Yeah.
there's one player that's safe from Pep Roulette, it's Ederson. But I think if it's not 100% set that he's going to be starting, then it's
Mm.
probably better to bring in somebody like a De Gea, honestly. So I definitely agree with this. So now we're getting into like the juicy part, which is the team selection. And I'm so I'm pretty certain that I'm going to roll my transfer
Hmm.
for this game week because we have like a double game week 36, double game week 37, and I want to try to set myself up for
Yeah.
that. And I don't really know like what transfer I would make other than maybe bringing in a Newcastle attacker or selling a goalkeeper,
Mm.
uh, and bringing in, I'm looking at De Gea specifically. So this is my team. I'm pretty happy with it, I think. But I always go into every game week being happy with my team and then just getting like absolutely battered. I'm not sure out of the two goalkeepers from Rita Balaga or Raya which one to start. Like they both make a decent amount of saves and get bonus points.
Mm.
Um, I'm just thinking like that Liverpool away fixture looks more difficult. Bournemouth away also like Chelsea have struggled historically to face Bournemouth, especially away in the league.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we would keep a clean sheet, but I think between the two, maybe that's more likely. And then the only other thing that I was thinking is, do I start Solanke ahead of like a Martinelli or a Matoma or a Watkins and start him against Chelsea?
This is the thing. Obviously, we're Chelsea fans, so I hate saying anything negative, but we are letting goals in so much. And Solanke is on fire, so I would be very tempted to play Solanke, but it's
Ahead of
really hard. Like, who do you then bench?
yeah. So
That's
I don't
really
know,
tricky.
like Matoma hasn't gotten any like really like any um what's the word I'm looking for? Goal contributions
Yeah.
in the past
I
couple
must
of
say though, because I was watching the highlights yesterday, and he looks as though he's got chances. I can imagine maybe there's a game coming where he is going to do so well. Because I was
that's
thinking of selling Matoma, and I thought no, because the minute I do it, I know for a fact he will be back. So
the
it's a
thing.
really, really tough one.
Yeah, because I feel like he's been like one of the best players on the pitch for Brighton consistently, but just hasn't been getting like those goals or assists.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know, like, do I bench Watkins? Do I bench Martinelli maybe? Do I bench
My instinct would have been Watkins, but I sold Watkins, and then I think the week after was when he just went absolutely wild, and he got, I can't remember how many points. I've tried to erase it from my memory. So I'm really hesitant saying anything anti Watkins now. The problem is all the fixtures this week are so good.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
maybe Martinelli, on the basis that quite a few people have gotten rid of their Arsenal assets now. So if he does do well, hopefully it won't affect your rank too much. But then he's that good differential to maybe boost your up. It's really, really tough.
it's really hard. I'm thinking, well, he was rested. Is he going to play? And then, oh, and Newcastle have been conceding. They haven't been keeping a clean sheet. So, like,
Hmm.
maybe it makes sense to have an Arsenal attacker on. So that's like kind of the one that I'm like going back and forth on. I think I'm pretty set on benching Trippier
Yeah.
um, out of the defenders. And then the things that I'm kind of thinking about for the next couple of game weeks is like, okay, Newcastle have a double game week in 36. Do I sell with my two free transfers like Watkins and Solanke and bring in like double Newcastle attack?
Yeah.
Or, 37, do I look at
God,
like
sorry.
no, don't worry. I know the feeling. Do I look at like double like more United assets or City assets? So that's kind of like where I stand, and it's probably going to be a last minute decision. I think
Hmm.
part of me is just like a Chelsea fan, so I just want to believe that Solanke won't score against Chelsea, but he's been on my bench for a couple of weeks, and he's like burned me every time that I put him on the bench. So I'm like very highly contemplating it. But what about you? What's your game week looking like?
So I am also going to roll the transfer. That is my plan, I think, unless I suddenly, well, apparently there might be early team news. So if we get some news, maybe that like Grealish is benched or something, I may transfer him out. But then he's benched this weekend. I don't know. It's really hard because there are so many players that I'd like to bring in. So it's a tough one. But I think I'm going to try and just be patient with it. I'm quite happy with my starting team.
Yeah.
I'm a bit nervous for the Newcastle Arsenal game, but I can see Isak hopefully sneaking a goal. I don't think Trippier will keep a clean sheet, but I'd rather go for him over Gahey because Spurs at the moment, oh, I mean, they've got Harry Kane. Harry Kane basically seems to be carrying the whole team, and I am quite fearful of him. So I think I'm going to go Trippier over Gahey and then play all of my Brighton assets. I was thinking actually until McAllister scored last night, he was originally going to be on my bench and I was going to start Grealish, but now he has redeemed himself. So he's in the starting lineup. And then, yeah, the rest of the team. I do have obviously my keeper on the bench playing Fulham, but I think, yeah, Edison's probably the way to go against Leeds. But apart from
Yeah.
that, I'm feeling fairly okay with my team this week. But similar to you, I always feel okay and then it goes
Yeah.
downhill.
I really like your team. Like I think it looks like much better than mine, to be honest. And the thing is, like, if Ederson for whatever reason doesn't play, which I would be super surprised if he
Mm.
doesn't play 2 in a row, then you'll just have the keeper come off of the bench.
Yeah.
But versus Leeds, it's just like such a good fixture. And the other thing that I was thinking about that I've kind of seen like whispers about is people saying like, "Oh, do you think that Holland's going to get benched because City play Real Madrid in the Champions
Mm.
League this week?" And I was just checking like when they play them, and I think it's Tuesday if I'm doing my math correctly. So that's kind of something else that I'm thinking about, like I think that, like you said, we might get some early City team news. And
Mm.
if that's the case, maybe I would change the armband. But you know that like he could come in and score like a hat trick off the bench,
This
honestly.
is the thing. It doesn't really even matter how many minutes he has. If they're having to bring him on, he is there for one reason, and that's to score. And he will just do it within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like those are kind of all the things that I'm thinking about for this game week. Like I've been saying, I always feel good and then I kind of get destroyed. And I'm really hoping that I can have like a bit of luck this game week.
Oh, me too. I just want to be, I get into the top 100K and then the next game we come out of it. I just want to be in a nice, comfortable position, but it's not happening.
I just trying to break it to the top million. Like I'm so sad. I really like messed up so hard at the beginning of the season. And I was telling Yelena like off screen, or like off recording that before the World Cup I was like almost 3 million. So it's like improved a lot. Now I'm like
Yeah,
right
massively.
outside of 1 million. But I just took so many hits in
Mm.
the beginning of the season, and now it's like really come to bite me in the butt. So I just like if I can make top million this year,
Yeah.
whatever, and then we start again next year, but it will be my worst finish
The
ever.
standard this year, though, has been so incredibly high. Like, I think the top million now is the new top 100K. Like, it's so difficult.
I think like the problem that I've seen this year is that so many people's teams are the same. So it's
Mm.
just come down to like just very like minor things, or like the 50-50 decisions are weighing like even more than ever.
Mm,
Uh,
massively.
it's really difficult. But yeah, I think that that's like basically covered everything. Let's see. This has like literally caused me so much angst the past couple of weeks. I've just been so like needing to take a deep breath because I'm
Yeah.
so sad about it. I'm like, it's just a game, Elizabeth. Like, don't care.
I have it. I see a result when I'm out and about doing something and it ruins my day. I'm like, I can't get upset about this. It's a game, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
me
too much.
too. But thank you so much for joining me once again.
Oh,
And
I'm so glad we're back. It was so
I
nice to
know we're
talk.
back. We're back until the end of the season, which
Yeah,
there's a couple of games left, and then we can do some stuff over the summer transfer window as well.
definitely. All of our draft teams.
Oh yeah, that'd
Too
be
exciting.
super fun. Cool. So let everybody know where they can find you.
So I am on Twitter and TikTok at YelenaFPL, and I also upload photos, videos on my YouTube channel. I did a team selection yesterday, but it was ahead of the Brighton game, so things have changed now already. And this is the problem with the double game weeks. Everything changes, doesn't it? It's so hard to get content out.
Yeah, it's like you have like this small window, and then otherwise it's like outdated already.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that it's the content is still basically the same. It's just one fixture, so it doesn't matter so much
Same
to
team selection. Still just
exactly.
as confused.
The time doesn't help. We just get more confused the closer.
Definitely.
Well, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely make sure to follow Yelena on all socials. And while you're at it, maybe follow me as well. Hope that you guys have a great game week. Let me know who is a must own in your team. And hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever time you're watching this. And until next time, we're out. Bye.
See you later.